Bloomburrow is still strong, and so is the secondary market in general, so again this week we look at the top 15 hottest cards. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Dustborn House of Horror, or find a vast number of other great products on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Bloomburrow continues to cause big waves in the secondary market, so today we are going to look at the top 15 hottest cards of the week instead of the normal 10. As always, our hot list is based on two things: the percentage increase in the value of the cards, but we also want to see a true increase in the number of sales from week to week as well. Quickly before we get into it though, just a couple things. I do want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, and that is Cesareo Garasa. Cesareo, thank you for being a gold patron. Thank you for all the support you've given the channel. Cesareo has supported us on Patreon for quite some time now, and I really could not do this without viewers like yourself. So again, thank you, Cesareo. And I also want to say thank you to a viewer who gave a super thanks tip last week, and that is Todd Branch. Todd, thank you for yet another generous super thanks tip. It really means a lot, and it does go a very long way to helping out the channel. Can't thank you enough for all your support. Todd's also a gold patron as well. Thank you again, Todd. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 15 is Wave of Rats, up $2.01 to $4.51. That's an 80% increase. This is from the Streets of New Capenna Riveteer Rampage Commander deck. Bloomburrow brought a lot of support for rats, and commander builds around classic rat commanders like Harmonix the Rat King and Maronar are seeing more play. This card is found in both those builds, but it's also in commander decks around new cards from Bloomburrow as well. The cards are Wick the World Mind and Vren the Relentless. Simply, that's why Wave of Rats and some other good rat cards are hot right now. Number 14 is Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, up 208 to 936. That is a 29% increase. This is seeing a ton of new commander play thanks to Bloomburrow. First, it's a good upgrade to the Squirreled Away commander deck, and it's in fresh builds around the front-facing commander from there, Hazel of the Root Bloom. Jaheira is also in builds around Shatterfang Squirrel General, which was reprinted in that deck. Additionally though, you can see Jaheira in commander decks around cards from Bloomburrow's main set too, like Balin the Haymaker, Ygritte Eater of All, and Camellia the Seed Miser. Number 13 is Excalibur, Sword of Eden, up 215 to 869. That's a 33% increase. This is from the recent MTG Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed set, and it's been heating up. It's in plenty of commander decks around cards from Assassin's Creed like Ezio Auditore da Firenze, Alexios Deimos of Cosmos, and Cassandra Eaglebearer. Excalibur is in lots of other builds in the format too, including a deck around a new card from Bloomburrow, Mabel, Heir to Cragflame. Number 12 is Temporary Lockdown, up 219 to 496. That's a 79% increase. This is seeing a tad bit of commander play. Sometimes it's in Sithis Harvest hand builds, for example, but commander is not the key driver here this time. Temporary Lockdown is getting a ton of play in standard. Plus it's appearing in a fair amount of Pioneer and Modern decks too. In Pioneer, you see this in builds like Hidden Strings, Azorius Control, Azorius Lotus Field, and the Enigmatic Fires builds. In Modern, it's in Bat Control and Azorius Midrange, but Standard is the true key driver here. The format has just undergone some big meta changes thanks to Bloomburrow, and you are seeing Temporary Lockdown in some big decks there, including Domain, Orzhov Midrange, as well as Azorius, Mono White Token, 5 color, and sometimes Jeskai Control. But the deck pushing this card the most, as well as some other cards you're going to see in the video today, is the Boros Token Control build. A version of that deck came in first place this week at the MTG Japan Open, and the build is running 2 copies of this card in the main and 1 in the sideboard. Number 11 is Season of Weaving. This is up 229 to 583. That's a 65% increase. This new Bloomburrow card is hot because it's showing up all over Commander. It's in a ton of builds there, old and new. The 2 most popular decks running it currently are around other new Bloomburrow cards though. They are Alania Divergent Storm from the main set, but this is also included in the starter kit, as well as this card here, Bria Riptide Rogue, from the starter kit. Before we get into our top 10, just a quick reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Dustmore and House of Horror products there, or pick up any number of other things. They have a lot of great MTG products like Bloomburrow on their site, but they have other things too, even outside the realm of MTG. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is Rapacious Guest. It goes up $2.45 to $5.99. That's a 69% increase. This is from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Food and Fellowship Commander deck. Traditionally, this has been seeing a fair amount of Commander play. It was in builds around the partner commanders Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit, and Samuel Attendant, for example, which makes sense since they're all from the same precon. But you guessed it, Bloomburrow and the additional support it brought for food tokens is now pushing those builds, and this card in particular. You're now seeing Rapacious Guest in a bunch of commander builds around new cards from the Bloomburrow main set. Cards like Ygritte Eater of All and Camellia the Seed Miser. To a lesser degree, I'm seeing some picking up Rapacious Guest to upgrade the Squirreled Away deck, or to put in fresh builds around Hazel of the Root Bloom from there. Coming in at number 9 is Fountain Port, up $2.68 to $4.43. That's a 153% increase. This new Bloomburrow card is seeing play in multiple formats. Let's start with Commander. It's a good upgrade to Squirreled Away, and I am seeing some putting it in fresh builds around Hazel of the Root Bloom, as well as the reprinted Shatterfang Squirrel General from there. But Fountain Port is in other Commander builds too, old and new. Right now, the most popular one is around a card from Bloomburrow's main set, Balin the Haymaker. Meanwhile, in Pioneer, you are seeing this in Mono White Midrange, Rakdos Transmogrify, and now I'm even starting to see some trying it out in Azorius Control. Again though, Standard is the key driver this time. It's in a bunch of builds there, like Golgari Midrange, Orzhov Midrange, Azorius Control, Mono White Token Control, Jeskai Control, and sometimes Mono Red Aggro, as well as Rakdos Midrange and Mono Black Discard. But that's not all. This is another card found in Boros Token Control, and sure enough, there were 4 copies of Fountain Port in the version of the deck that took first place at the MTG Japan Open. That victory has really pushed cards from the deck, including this one. Number 8 is Savvy Trader. It goes up $3.25 to $4.65. That's a 232% increase. This is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Grand Larceny Commander deck. The most popular commander build running it was Gonti Canny Acquisitor from its precon, but now Savvy Trader is getting more play in the format thanks to Bloomburrow. I'm seeing it in builds around Glarb Calamity's Augur from the main set, and around Flubs the Fool, which is the Bloomburrow Buy a Box promo commander card. This was number 13 on the hot list last week. This week it's number 7, Parallax Tide from Nemesis. It goes up $3.36 to $10.99. That's a 44% increase. This Nemesis copy is the only tournament legal printing of the card, and it's been dry online. First, this does see a little commander play. Sometimes it's in builds like Memnarch or Hanaship's Navigator, for example. But the format making Parallax Tide jump right now is actually pre-modern. There is a Parallax Replenish deck that has been performing well in the format, and it runs 3 or 4 copies of this. That extra demand on an already scarce card led to the price jump we see here. Number 6 is Scavenger's Talent, up $3.54 to $5 for a 242% increase. These talent cards from Bloomburrow have been wildly popular. This one is getting a good amount of commander play and builds both old and new. Many are grabbing it in order to upgrade the Squirreled Away deck again. Others want it in fresh builds around some cards from there, including the reprinted Shatterfang Squirrel General, as well as Hazel of the Root Bloom and the odd Acorn Gang. You're also seeing Scavenger's Talent in popular commander builds around cards from the main set too though, like Ygritte Eater of All and Camellia the Seed Miser. Coming in at number 5 is Vraska Betrayal Sting. This is up $4.45 to $15.43. That's a 41% increase. This actually does see a good amount of commander play. The most popular deck running it is Atraxa Praetor's Voice, but commander isn't the key driver this time. Again, it is the standard format pushing this. Even though you do see Vraska and Dimir Poison, it is the new Golgari midrange build that is causing the card to spike the way it is. Those decks typically run 3 or 4 copies of Vraska Betrayal Sting and 3 or 4 copies of a new card from Bloomburrow in Keeper's Talent. And sure enough, these 2 cards make a powerful combo. Basically, if you play Verasco with Innkeeper's Talent when level 3 is active, you can give an opponent 18 poison counters. Number 4 is Omnibian. The Dissension copy is up 557 to 906. That is a 160% increase. The Ravnica Allegiance Simic Guild Kit copy is up 619 to 918. That is a 207% increase. Now, this card wasn't seeing much play. Sometimes it would appear in like a Grolnok, the Omnivore Commander build, for example, but now Bloomburrow has changed all that. The set brought us some support for frogs, and there are 2 commander builds around cards from the Bloomburrow main set that are using Omnibian. They are Clement the Worrywart and Glarb Calamity's Augur. Number 3 is Plague of Vermin. This goes up 773 to 2735. That's a 39% increase. Not much of a surprise here. We talked about how Bloomburrow brought more support for rats, and this is a solid sorcery that lets you and other players convert life into rat tokens. It's in classic rat commander builds like Karomonix the Rat King and Marronar, for example, and it's in new commander decks around Wick the Worldmind and Vren the Relentless from Bloomburrow's main set. But remember, Plague of Vermin is a Shadow War rare, so I guess I'll use my one per video. During this time, there was a recession in the game and less packs were cracked, meaning that when a rare like this one that has never been reprinted gets some attention, we tend to see a spike, and that's exactly what's happening here. This was number 9 on the hot list last week. This week it makes it to number 2, Aclazot's Deepest Betrayal, up 869 to 2134. That's a 69% increase. The card is getting a lot of play in a few different formats. In Pioneer, sometimes you see this in mono black discard, but it gets a lot more play in Standard. It has appeared in a bunch of builds there, like Golgari, Orzhov, Rakdos, Dimir, and Abzan midrange, as well as mono black discard. Additionally, Aclazotz is a fairly popular commander, and it's in the 99 of several builds there, including a couple new ones around Bloomburrow cards, Zoraline Cosmos Caller, and to a lesser degree, the infamous Cruel Claw. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Urabrask's Forge. It goes up 914 to 1213. That's a 306% increase if you're doing the math at home. First, this does see a little commander play in several builds. The highest played ones are Obeka Brute Chronologist and Goro Goro and Satoru. In Modern, there are 2 copies of this in the sideboard of Visit Transmogrify, but I buried the lead long enough here. Standard is the real reason this is jumping. It's in tons of decks there, like Gruul Prowess, Boros Aggro, Mono Red Aggro, Rakdos Lizards, Jeskai Aggro, Izzet Prowess, Rakdos Aggro, and sometimes Rakdos Midrange. But there is one deck pushing this price more than the others, and that of course is Boros Token Control. There were 4 copies of this in the version of that deck that came in first place at the MTG Japan Open. And that is the main reason Urabrask's Forge is our number 1 hottest card of the week. Having said that, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, but there's more to come. Tomorrow we're going to return with another episode looking at the top 10 coldest cards of the week. Don't miss that one because that's where you can find some true deals. Until next time though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon and have a great day.